Yo, we're back. It's been a day, bruh. Been a day. Had to get the hair done. Had to get the hair cut. Worked online. Got the meal in. Got the content done. We're doing good. We're about 8 days. 8 days straight. Just hopped up the call. 100x mindset call. Today I want to talk about, exactly what happened in my life when I decided to quit doing drugs, right? So I've talked about it in a bunch of videos prior. When I was younger, like I started smoking weed when I was 8 years old, like ecstasy, cocaine by 11, 12. And like by the time I was 16, I was strung out on crystal meth. And when you think about that, you're going to think of like the last junkie you saw outside. But I was a kid, bro. I was a young kid, bro. And it was just like I had a lot of energy and I was just always angry. For the most part, not too many people knew I was on it until like I got like 19, you know what I mean? And like I dropped out of school, stopped playing football, just kicking it in the hood with the homies, kicking it at the park, you feel me? Always outside, in and out of the house, getting kicked out, arrested. I never went to jail, but I was a felon. I caught a possessions charge and a felony charge for counterfeit money. And like my life was fucked, bro. My life was unmanageable. Everything I touched, it seemed like it would go wrong. It felt like, for whatever reason, I just couldn't find a way out of the madness, right? But as soon as I removed myself from the situation and, I started to get some clarity, bro. Like my brain started to work. For a minute, I like forgot how to read, bro. I was able to read. Everything I once wanted came back, bro. Like mentally, physically, and spiritually in myself. I was confident again. I had the ability to speak like I know I can. I became a beacon of hope for people just like me, right? Property prestige that soon came. I was able to go back to college. I was able to start playing football again. I got all my degrees, bachelor's, minor, master's, and I was able to go pro overseas, but that's just all stuff, The best part, that I've gotten since I was clean, like I said, was everything I've restored for myself mentally, physically, and spiritually, you know what I mean? Like my mind is functioning the way it's supposed to. I could think for myself, you know what I mean? I don't go back and forth with myself in my head. And then on top of that, the second best thing was the property and prestige, Like I lost a lot of friends, bro. I've always had a lot of friends. I've always been loved, likable, charismatic, you know what I mean? I had never had a problem making friends, But when I was on that shit, I lost everything, bro. I lost all my friends. The people I was hanging around with, like they weren't the best type of individuals, and I still love them to this day, but those are the people I can no longer hang out with for, obvious reasons, right? But yeah, majority of my friends came back, bro. I could honestly say there's only like one person that still doesn't talk to me from back then. And at the end of the day, like, they say you make amends and shit when it's time, but when that time comes, like, then I'll make that amends, right? But I'm here to let you know, bro, like, when you're on the drugs, bro, it'll make you feel like everything else is the problem. It'll make you feel like they're doing this to me. It'll make you feel like your circumstances are the problem, your parents, your father, where you grew up, the drug itself. But at the end of the day, bro, like, that's what the drug wants, bro. The drug wants you in that victim mentality, and it wants you to be feeling sorry for yourself. Because the only thing that's going to happen when you feel sorry for yourself is you're going to feel sorry, bro. And you can't stop doing drugs while you're feeling sorry for yourself. You got to remove yourself from the situation and get around people who are focused on the same thing, bro. You can't get clean where you got dirty at, bro. I haven't met a person in my 8.5 years being clean like anyone who's ever done that. You got to literally remove yourself from the situation, bro. And eventually you will be able to come back. Right now I live in my hometown. This is exactly where I used to get high at, but I didn't live here for like 8 years, bro. I would come home for like vacations and like when I was at school. Then I went overseas for 2 years, so I'd be here for short periods of time. But now I'm living here. It's because I have the strength, internally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and I know exactly what I'm capable of, and I know exactly what I want to do and what I'm not going to do, right? And those are just some of the things that happens, once you decide to, put yourself first, mentally, physically, and spiritually. You know, you got to drop the vices. You know, it's not anything else but the drugs, bro. It's you and the drugs, bro. You got to get to a place where you're tired of being tired. You got to get to a place where you want it more than you want to breathe, bro. Like, and that's exactly where I was. I was tired of being tired. And at the end of the day, it was either I got to do something to them or they're going to do something to me, bro. And I didn't want to do what I had to do to them, so I got the fuck out the way, bro. And I ain't ashamed, or I don't feel less than for saying that, bro. I'm smarter, bro, because there's no one's around that I used to get high from. They're all dead or in jail. Literally every single person. And I'm only 29 years old, bro. So that means they died way younger than me, or they've been in jail. I have a friend who's been in jail since 2016, bro, because he did some dumb shit when he was high. You feel me? So it's just like, that's the only way the lifestyle ends. Dead, jail, or institutions, bro. That's the only way the lifestyle ends, whether you're on drugs or not, or just trapping, gangbanging, bro. That's the only way the lifestyle ends. You know what I mean? And if you're signed up for that shit, you better be willing to go all the way, bro. And if you not, bro, as soon as you get an opportunity, bro, get the fuck out the way. And I promise you, everything will change, bro. Everything you want is gonna come back. Every person who left you is gonna come back. Every feeling you once had is gonna come back. Every dream you once had is gonna be actually achievable at this point, you know? But it starts with the drugs. You got to put the drugs down. Follow me on Instagram at staydownfit_Ray. Follow me on Instagram at Bay Affiliated. Those are both also my YouTube channels. Dropping 2 YouTube videos a week. I got Bubba Smoke podcast coming out soon on Bay Affiliated. So, with that being said, we are out. It's time for meal number 2.